Across the United States, there are 574 federally recognized tribes, with approximately 10 million people identifying as American Indian and Alaska Native. Yet, for many of these families, especially those living outside of tribal service areas or in urban locations, their needs often go unseen and unmet. In fact, 80% of tribal individuals live in metro areas, often invisible to existing support systems, facing significant disparities in education, income, and access to culturally reflective social services. One of the core issues is the relationship between state and tribal governments. Effective communication and collaboration are crucial for tribal families to access high-quality early care and education reflective of their culture. But this is easier said than done. While tribes can tailor services for those on reservations, federal policies restrict their ability to provide childcare support to members living outside tribal service areas. As a result, many tribal families struggle to find affordable and culturally responsive childcare, exacerbating the challenges they face in urban environments. To bridge this gap, federal legislation could be amended to give tribes the flexibility to serve members living outside of existing tribal service areas. This could look like ensuring that tribal organizations can receive federal funding for early childhood services in urban settings and encouraging collaboration between tribes, NGOs, and urban-based organizations. Another critical issue is federal funding methods and how funds are calculated. Current methods are outdated and insufficient. Policy could be amended to prioritize data-driven funding methods and better support for tribes in developing their own data collection systems. It's equally important to harness the cultural strengths and resilience of these communities. By drawing on traditional values, community bonds, and a deep connection to heritage, lawmakers should work with tribal communities to create innovative solutions. These strengths can empower tribes to advocate more effectively for their needs, develop community-driven support systems, and collaborate with policymakers to ensure that every child has access to the care and education they deserve. We envision a world where tribal sovereignty is respected, tribal funding is based on their need and not arbitrary set-asides, and where tribal programming is culturally appropriate and allows for the celebration of their identity. The path forward requires including community voices in policy discussions, building trust, and fostering authentic communication between state, federal, and tribal governments is key to improving services and support for tribal families. At the Bipartisan Policy Center, we know that the first years of life are foundational for healthy development, and yet many families cannot afford or do not have access to high-quality childcare. Tackling barriers to access for tribes requires listening. It requires learning. And it requires working together and ensuring tribes have a seat at the table. It's time to make the invisible visible. For more information, visit our website and join the movement to support tribal families.